once you retire, you exchange your pension, you give it to an insurance company, and they pay you 1% of that amount every month for the rest of your life.
Okay.
Yes. So if you had 10M pension, every month unajua, I will be receiving 100K. And it does not matter. But ukifanya hiyo hesabu mwaf, by year 8, umemaliza the entire lump sum. But it doesn't matter. Even if you live for 30 years, 40 years, your 100K will be coming in without fail.
This like on income protection, because with income protection, I remember you told me that at some point, if I'm not able to work, I can be receiving a certain bunch every month.
Yes.
But with whole life, what I'm getting is it's more about the estate. So it's more of after ni pass, this is what the family gets.
Okay.
Ama
No.
have I got any wrong?
So, yeah, a little bit. Okay. So, there are products called income protection policies. Na hizo hazipo Kenya. Okay. Like in the UK, like you'll go and say, I want to buy an income protection cover. Yenye, in case I am sick, you get, and I can no longer work. And it doesn't even have to be a critical illness. Like if I just became even temporarily incapacitated, na maybe nitarudi kazini 2 years later, for those 2 years that I'm out of work, napata mshahara kila mwezi. Okay, so there is that income protection, okay, kind of cover. It's an insurance policy inaitwa income protection. So,
But hiyo iko Kenya.
Hiyo haiko
Okay,
Kenya.
tuilenge basi.
Yes, so what we are talking about, income protection for replacing your income in the unfortunate event that you pass away, you are actually using either a whole life cover, ama ingine tunaita term. But I don't, honestly, in our market, in our Kenyan market especially, and I would say this with so much confidence, there is no need of buying a term policy when you have access to the kind of whole life policies zenye zimekuja in the market. Because the whole life policies zenye tumeletewa, they are a hybrid between wamecombine term na whole. Yenye inakukubalisha, yes, it's whole life, it's permanent, but lipa tu miaka 10. Term life, kama umechukua ya miaka 10, if you don't pass away within those 10 years, if you don't get a critical illness within those 10 years, inapotea tu. Ni kama ulilipia nini motor insurance or something, ama your home insurance, you get. That is term life. So in this market, like there's literally zero reason why someone should be buying a term when we have the amazing paid up whole life covers in the market.
Okay, so tuseme whole life.
Yes.
I'm in my mid-40s, yes?
Yes.
Turning 45 this year.
Okay.
I want to pay it for the next 10 years.
Yes.
What am I looking at? If I'm paying 10K a month, what would my estate be looking at after your 10 years?
So tumesema for a 45-year-old gentleman.
Yes.
See the way I'm fast to remove my... na tumesema for how much? 10K per month?
Yes, for 10 years.
Okay. Kabla niongeze any benefits, any other benefits. So far we have a sum assured of 8,010,190 bob.
Okay.
And look at this. That's 10K, because 10K, and think about it. 10K in 10 years, utakuwa umepe insurance company how much? 1.2.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they guarantee you that more from after umefanya hii, umelipia hii cover, umefanya medicals, umesema good, we are issuing it, your health is good, you'll just be paying 10K.
Yeah.
Even if that policy holder was to pass away the next day, say from an accident, unajua the 8M italipwa. You get, like, accident has in a waiting period. Only what we call like a natural death, hiyo ndio iko na 6 months waiting period. So you go into 100% benefit after 6 months imepita.
Okay. Natural death, what do you mean by that?
Natural death, a death from an illness.
Okay.
You get, it can also be from old age. So something clinical. Okay. Sasa, angalia hii cover. Mwaf. I want you to read here. Pia inakuja na an inflation guard. Unaona hiyo bonus? Yeah, 2.5%. What is 2.5% of 8M? Roughly, that's 0 carry 4. That's 200K. So this plan inakuongezea 200K onto the value of your 8M year on year.
Okay.
So 200K over 10 years, that's 2M.
Yes, so we are 10M. Tayari.
So already it's been pushed to 10M and you built that with how much? 1.2M.
Yes.
Given out in piecemeal. Remember, hatukupeana 1.2M from the beginning. Tulipeana 10K, 10K, 10K. And you see that 200K continues for the rest of your life. You get? So even if, let's say it was eventually going to be paid, because, and this is something I say about life insurance, we don't take it because tunaaga kesho. No. We still believe, God, that we will be blessed with a long life.
Yes.
Okay? So, as we know that, having a plan yenye that assures you that even if it were to be paid 40 years from today, haitalipwa as 8M. It will probably be paid as...
Kozilema 250 zitakuwa zime
yaka 200, inaendelea tu. Yes, so it's very important. And those are some of the features. For anyone who's watching and eventually you go maybe interact with your agent, these are some of the things you need to insist. I want one that will come with a bonus. You get? Like I want that inflation guard. I want one that allows me to pay for a short period of time, but it's still permanent, even beyond the premium payment term.
Okay. Because here I think you're strong. Yeah, 10 years. I think like it's good enough.
And let's look
Kiwachia 10M najipanga na.
Yes. and now let's look what that would give me as a... Tumesema I'm 38 currently, sindio? Unaona yangu ingekuwa 11.4.
Okay.
Do you get?
So kama wife, I think she's turning 34.
34, tuangalia ya wife.
She just turned 34.
Yes, so she's 34. You see, hers is 13.6. Do you get? So also, that's the other thing. The earlier you take this, you'll notice the sum assured is more significant, or the cover is cheaper when you are younger.
This is interesting.
Yes.
My nephew is 22.
Yes.
Akiamua kutake insurance ya 5K a month for 10 years.
That is for a 22-year-old.
Yes.
Let me tell you, Marf, juzi nimeuzia a 23-year-old girl. I could not believe. Now, Marf, because one, please get our young men wachangamke.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy you're even asking about your nephew right now.
Yes, because namuuliza kuzinaweza taka in 10 years he's secured his estate. So now he can live his life. Hata akianzisha familia, he knows that eventually familia iko set.
Because you should see what even 23, like a 23-year-old girl last year took a 5K cover. And so when I sent her the quotes, akaniuliza maswali kwa email. You know, younger people hawapendi mshinda mkipigiana simu ama mkiingia sijui Google Meet. Kaniuliza maswali kwa email, then akaniambia she'll take it. So I was like, please first provide me with your phone number, because I was even scared that she didn't understand the product well. So I call her. So namuuliza, so did you understand whole life? And she's like, yeah. So she earns quite well. You know, also these kids now have so much higher, earning power. And she's like, no, even the 5K is like, I'm just starting off. I know with time I will build on it. For now, I don't have dependents. It's just my mom and my dad. So she nominated her parents as her beneficiaries. But just the way that young girl took me through why she decided, she's like, I'm very happy because I'll be having critical illness coverage, accident coverage, but I'm just setting ni foundation tu nale for now. And 5K hayezi nilemea. Do you get? In future, I will build. So you find the younger Kenyan girl, she's able to even consume content online, confidently ask for quotes. And there are so many terms and conditions. Aingia kwa email akuandikie maswali mingi. You respond properly, and she makes a decision immediately and decides, you know what, out of my 180K that I take home, I can actually set aside 5K into that. And I hope people realize that's it. Insurance, it doesn't need to break bank.
Yes.
Or disrupt your entire budget, by the way. So now going back to your 22-year-old nephew, putting 5K, before we put any life benefits, he's at 8.4. Na 5K.
That's in 10 years.
Yes.
Okay.
And then remember, bado itakuwa na ka 200. So in those 10 years, it will also have lumped up to 10 plus, 10 million
plus. That means watu wake hata sota.
Exactly.
Okay. That's good. I think this is the interesting thing about this, because we always wonder, like, what if I'd done this mapema? Najua, because time flies. I think hiyo ndio kitu moja ile tunasahau. Time flies. Apart from time flying, life happens. I think that's the key word ila tujuage, like life happens. 1 minute tuko sawa. Majuzi like kwa the one of my groups za chuo, just a doctor passed away. Hivyo tu mchezo tu, like 1 minute is there, the next minute hayuko. There's another one who daughter wake alipass. So you have all these stories. So kila mtu tunafikiaga jua last expenses, inatonga hivyo. That's what it's called, last expenses. But yes, let's also talk about ingine sasa, home insurance.
Yes.
How does this work?
So home insurance, sasa kwa boma yetu, so utapata kuna mtu already they own either the apartment ama the home that they live in. Your home insurance will be able to come. For example, if this studio is already bought.
Yes.
Okay, not really studio. Now this would be a different type of insurance because now this is a business premise. Let's go to the home. If the apartment you live in or the home, depending kama umenunua nyumba like a bungalow, so if that is your home, it can be covered by home insurance.
Okay.
Over and above the building, it can also cover the contents in your home. So from your sofas to your TV screens to your clothes, literally even to your nywele, like these people who heavily invest like in wigs and everything, to the jewelry, like there are people who, you know, like utapata like wedding bands ni expensive sana, you get jewelry, to the portables. Unaona kama I'm sure you move out of your house a lot with your laptop,
Yes.
and you know your phone. Okay, so we call these all risk items, the items that you move out kwa nyumba na nini out and about with. Okay, so all those contents can actually be covered within your home insurance.
Okay.
Also, your domestic workers, you get, it could be your nanny, it could be your gardener, you get, like the people who work within your home. Home insurance is able to extend a cover tunaita WIBA, Work Injury Benefits Act. So ni insurance yenye, because by the way, and it's something that a lot of Kenyans don't know, and even business owners, they don't know that there's actually a law in Kenya where if your employee, for example, passes away from a work-related, you know, let's say death, or becomes permanently incapacitated from work-related injury, you as the employer will need to pay his beneficiaries ama yeye mwenyewe up to 8 times their annual income. Okay. So the thing with WIBA, because huwa haiko enforceable, like huwa huoni atikanjo ama government officials wakikuja kukuuliza iko wapi WIBA certificate yako, a lot of Kenyans we don't you know, like we just ignore it. But I have seen so many businesses brought to the ground because wamepelekwa kotini, and now they're being told, you know, this person was earning 100K, so that is 1.2 times 8 yoni 9.6, lipeni familia 9.6. How many people who has some idle 9.6 just lying in a bank? So if you don't have that, then it's good to have WIBA. So now going back to the discussion, your home insurance is able to cater for the actual building, your household contents, and especially because I know a lot of Kenyans tunaogopa because of our all risk items, so unazirusha hapo, and also cater also for your domestic employees.
Okay.
And you are able to do that at a fraction. Like, by the way, nikikutumia quote ya home insurance hata utasema ai.
Okay.
You get, it's affordable.
Let's look at that.
Yes.
Mi watu wananijuaga, mi ni mtu wa tech.
Yes.
So because mi ni mtu wa tech, the equipment that I have, like I have backup power batteries kama hii. So I have the TV.
Yes.
So there's some other backup power battery, my big backup power battery plus the TV alone ni half an M. Sindio?
Yes.
Value. Alafu tuangalie kila kitu. I'm looking at least 2M in that small space.
Yes.
How much premiums am I paying?
So now, one, this wouldn't be covered under home insurance. And please do not make the mistake.
Sisemi hapa. Mi hata kwa keja mwaga na backup power. Mi one thing like I have strictly is stakagi mambo ya KPLC.
Yeah.
So I have that. Like
and what do you use it for? What do you use it for?
Stima ikipotea, I just make sure
what does it
I
power?
power my TV, I power my internet, because I always have to have internet. Me, so it's about bila internet.
Okay.
So I power TV, so I power internet, just make sure that I function like kawaida. Yeah, so siwezi miss game yas and all that will never happen because of power, because of internet. Yes. Like if internet goes down, I don't have any power, but because of power, siwezi miss anything that I'd have missed back in the days. Yes.
Okay. So it's not for any business related.
No.
It's just for home.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say, okay, of course, it will be rated differently from one insurance company to the other, but you can be sure it wouldn't be anything above 20K in a year.
Oh, okay. Yes. And now the business now.
Yes.
Here now, tuko kwa business.
So hapa tukiingia, we are looking, one, we want to even start with a basic fire policy.
Yeah.
Unajua, because if fire raised this place down, mwafu naeza rudi nyuma before you get. Exactly. So we also want to ensure that if the studio was to be burglarized, like where's wangengia and these things go, they can be replaced by insurance.
Yes.
So and that's it. A lot, I know, especially right now in our gig economy, unapata, let's say DJ nini yake iko wapi, your turntable and I don't know what they're called.
Yeah,
ziko kwa nyumba. You get. What people don't realize is that is not a home insurance policy you should be taking in your house. That now needs to be it needs to have the business extension. You get, because what wengi, you will insure it as home insurance. At the point of claiming, that's when unakuja unaambiwa hizi si, you get.
Yes.
So you need to ensure that you are taking the right coverage. But you see now, for such a place utapata, most of the items are mainly all risk, because most of these need electrical.
Yes.
So that one will, when we list, you always list down everything. Then tunaandika the serial numbers, tunatuma unafanyiwa quote. But trust me, it is nothing that will break bank.
Yes.
You get. Pia utaiangalia and you're like, that is doable. It's a business expense that IKONINI can absorb. Yes.
So I'd still want to know figures, because I think before to answer, I was telling you of how I visited a fellow podcaster.
Yes.
Anaitwa Kiss Bandit. And he was trying to convince me to move from like shooting with my phone to shooting with a camera.
Yes.
And now we are talking about very ridiculous budgets where you have a camera plus lens, that's at least half an M.
Yes.
Tukikam to the editing gear, ya hapa, that's at least another half an M. Tukikuja to, because pia sutumiaga phone, that's maybe
cool
200K. Alafu by time tukuja na backup power hapa, now backup power hapa, you are looking at around 300K. So I think you're ready to nenda pia 2M.
Yes.
So as a business, how much am I paying for that per year?
Wacha tusikie. Let's hope he picks.
Yes.
Mwambie. Let's hope he picks. I know it's Easter. Let's see if he can pick and give us a quick quote.
Yeah, because you're because it's good to insure hizi vitu.
Hi, Joseph. Sasa, sorry to wake you up on Easter. I'm here with Mwafrika. Mwafrika runs the IKONINI podcast. Are you familiar? Oh, lovely. Yes. It's Mwaf. Huyo Mwaf. Sasa, we are talking about home insurance, and also we've gone into a business cover. Okay? So, for example, hapa akona studio mzuri, anafanya podcast. And we have estimated, we want something, a very rough estimate, okay? If we were to do like a fire policy, okay? And of course, we also want to insure like the all risk items, because sasa kama hapa kuna all these backup chargers.
Yeah, backup
kuna,
power.
Backup power, kuna cameras, and we're estimating maybe the value is about 2M, okay? Of all the fixtures and the equipment in the studio. Give me just a very rough estimate. What would that look like? 0.125% kidogo.
Wow.
0.125% of our 2M. 25? But that is just on the fire, sindio? nataka kila kitu, like a full quote. Yes. Electric clause 3, yes. Burglary for sure. Then all risks 1%. All risk 1%, just one. Okay, so 0.125, hiyo tukaona ni like 25. All risk umesema what?
The minimum premium is 5G, so if it's less than 5, it charge 5.
Okay, so
then burglary is
0.5 on burglary of the same 2M. 0.5, so that one comes to 10K, so we're at 15 so far. All risk
is
1% of our, let's say 2M still, so 20K. So we are at about 35 for the year. Sindio?
Yes.
All in. Okay. So asante sana. We are calling you from the Ikonini podcast, by the way, Marv. This is an amazing gentleman in the business. He's called Joseph Mbuto from APA Insurance.
Okay.
He supports us on the other side of the business.
Asante.
Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you.
Happy Easter. Yes.
Okay, so that's like 3K a month.
Yes.
To ensure. Okay, but
yes. However, it's needed to be paid
upfront.
Upfront.
Okay.
Alternatively, the most the insurance company will do, number one, they can give you like a credit, a short-term credit, but akukubalisha like ulipe in 2, upeane checks mbili. Okay, and in most cases, what I insist, the 2 checks are not more than 30 days apart.
Yeah.
So ukipeana ya kwanza, the other one, even if it's post-dated, 30 days from today. Some companies what I insist 15 days from today. Tukue tumemalizana. Alternatively, you can use what we call IPF. I hope Kenyans really understand what IPF is, because IPF makes insurance more like easier to acquire. So IPF is insurance premium financing. So Nile, if my premium is 35K, na sina 35K hapa, and I need that cover immediately. Because Moaf, there's no way you will have camera hapa that's to the tune of 500K and it's not insured. It's too much of a risk.
Yes.
So what you do with IPF, tunaenda kwa bank, tuseme kama NCBA. Okay? Watalipa ile 35K to the insurance company yote. And then they will charge you like 5,500 as a transaction fee. Si sasa imefika like 4,500 in total, and allow you to pay them back in 4 equal monthly installments.
Okay.
So over the next 4 months, unawalipa to 10K, then inamalizika. Then what I tell my clients, once umefanya IPF this year, next year usingoje kufanya IPF. Sasa tunaanza kusave. Tunajua kama nimefanya IPF mwaka, next year if the premium for the studio is, let's say 35K, I know that I just need to be setting aside 3K kwa money market yangu, the sinking fund, so that come the time for paying premiums, I have this 35K nalipa bila.
Okay. Ikonini, Linebet imerudi na this time imerudi na ubaya kabisa. Ni kwa nini? Kuna vile apart from kupata 100% bonus on your first deposit ukitumia the promo code MWAF, kuna very many gifts zile tuna give out. Kuna vitu kama power banks, kuna hoodies, kuna t-shirts, kuna flasks, na all na need kufanya tu ni kuingia kwa linebet.com alafu kutumia promo code MWAF. Usisahau hiyo link iko hapa kwa description. Cheki, link iko hapa kwa description. Apart from that, all your winnings zinakuja zikiwa tax free. So unangoja nini? Ingia kwa linebet.com. Wacha turudi kwa show. Okay, this is interesting. So studio hiyo tumekuja to around 35, eh?
Yes.
And ile ingine tuko tumesema ni
20 max.
10 per month ile ingine tuko tumesema. Alafu sasa other covers.
Yes.
Medical cover.
Yes.
So medical cover, ulisema there's a way to put whole life that we get a critical illness hapo ndani.
Yes.
Sindio?
Yes.
But medical cover, another way, like if I can still have whole life and still have medical cover. Sindio?
Yes.
Okay. So,
and please, let's have medical insurance. And the one thing, Mwaf, I keep saying, medical insurance does not cost 100,000. It does not cost 200 or 150 or 80. There are different medical policies for different budgets.
Okay.
Stop locking yourself out of the medical discussion because maybe ulionyeshwa quote ya 80. Rudi ulize, kuna cover zinaitwa budget insurance.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, budget insurance for a small child can even start from 12,000 in this country for the whole year.
Okay.
And it's a private cover that will give that child access to Akina Coptic, Avenue. So even in terms of the panel of providers that's there, it will even still give you access to pediatrician, like specialist, mwenye unaweza enda kwa clinic yake, and reputable. And this is a cover that has a countrywide panel. So hata kama let's say nyumbani ni Mombasa, utaweza kwenda kina Chuda huko, like it's not ati ni cover tu ya hapa Nairobi.
Yes.
If you are in Eldoret, there's MTRH huko. You get so like really good hospitals that you can access with this plan. With 500, for example, a cover ya 500,000 inpatient ya mtoto na 50,000 outpatient. Because unaona sasa watoto kwanza once they're newborn ama wakiwa wadogo like how are school going, utajipata ukienda hospitali a number of times.
Yes.
And you do not want to self-medicate ama over-the-counter kind of medicine with our kids. You get. Unataka hiyo fever ikiingia and it's persistent, you want to have that confidence. Umeona daktari, mtoto ata amepimwa, you get to know why are these fevers spiking.
Yes.
When you realize that you can get a 500K cover and 50,000 with about 17,900 for the entire year, you get. So I like to say medical insurance is not expensive. Like for your young nephew at 22, cover yake for the whole year can be like 24,000.
Okay.
You get. So even if he would start setting aside 2K from today, next year, same time, atakuwa na medical insurance that has both inpatient, outpatient, you get. And this is what I keep saying. Sometimes hata si ugonjwa, sometimes accidents happen. You get. And you want to have the confidence that if I need a very sad case, by the way, Mwaf. One of my clients got an accident akitoka Thika kwenda huko side za Kandara in number 3. Fortunately, she has a very good medical policy. She was with her son, kijana mkubwa, like I believe maybe in 30s or 40s. But you see now him, he doesn't have a medical cover. So they were in the same matatu. And he also got hurt, by the way. So that evening, I was the one doing the liaising with the insurance company to ensure everything was going on well at Avenue. They were in Avenue Thika. And I didn't even know that the son had been in the same accident because the whole time I was liaising with him, she was like really hurt, like badly hurt her. And vile tulimaliza, so towards the evening, akaniambia sasa alikuwa natoka hapa Avenue, I think to go to like the level 5, akatibiwe. Do you realize? Like that one was so heartbreaking, by the way, to me, because you realize like even just the cost of, like it feels like there's even a barrier to entry of getting quality treatment in our country. So I keep saying, sometimes it's not even an illness. Sometimes accidents happen. Just have something that could back you up. Look at how much would it cost me to have an inpatient cover. And fine, a lot of people, and because inpatient could make a huge, significant difference to your financial standing, but also at outpatient, see expensive vile.
Yes.
You can even start with an outpatient, like a 30,000 outpatient cover, 40,000 outpatient, 50, you get.
Yeah.
You just build pale mfuko itakuwezesha, but start somewhere and then now you can build on it over time.
Okay. Yes. Alafu pia medical you can still pay per month.
So now medical, just like these other policies, ni hizo, we call them cash and carry.
Okay.
The insurance company nataka receive their entire premium and then cover yako ianze. So
so you have
what
to
I
pay
explained, we can use IPF.
Okay.
As long as your premiums are above 25K, you can use IPF.
I think for a lot of people, they just want to kujifinya tu na kulipa instead of your IPF, because that's now extra debt. You'd rather just jifinya and then just
you pay mara moja.
Ubaki umelipa mara moja. Okay. So another thing is what's an individual pension plan? How does that work?
Okay. So you remember the companies we said that pension is invested by the insurance Sindio? So an individual pension plan is an account that you open for yourself. Unaanza kusema, you see right now I'm enjoying this lifestyle. But I need to take care of, say, 60-year-old, 65-year-old mwaf and my wife.
Yes.
Do you get? So unasema every month nitakuwa naeka 10k or 20k or 100k, whatever amount, or 5k. By the way, IPPs you can start even from 500 shillings.
Yeah.
Okay? So unaanza kuweka pesa, but hiyo ni pesa yenye uta access once you've retired. So early retirement age in Kenya is 50. So you can only access the funds in your IPP from the age of 50. Normal retirement mara mingi unapata maybe ni 60. For a business owner, when is the ideal retirement age, by the way?
You're 60.
You're 60, and it doesn't mean that now you have to flat out now stop working, do every. Basically, you can decide, between now, hii IPP yangu nitaijenga, my goal maybe is to get it to 20M. And then, even as I continue doing my light or softer duties, then now I convert your pension benefit yangu into a monthly income.
Yes.
So that IPP, the eventual goal, wa iko kitu inaitwa annuity or an income drawdown.
Okay.
So annuity ni, every time you go, if you've met one of your teachers from back in the day, umuulize, mwalimu unafanya nini siku hizi? Atakwambia, I am eating my pension. That thing they call eating my pension after they retire, that is the annuity. It's where once you retire, you exchange your pension, you give it to an insurance company, and they pay you 1% of that amount every month for the rest of your life.
Okay.
Yes. So if you had 10M pension, every month unajua, I will be receiving 100k. And it does not matter. But ukifanya hiyo hesabu mwaf, by year 8, umemaliza the entire lump sum. But it doesn't matter. Even if you live for 30 years, 40 years, your 100k will be coming in without fail.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. And for me to get your individual pension plan, like how much am I looking at? Because watu wengi wataangalia hivyo.
Yes.
Like how much would I need? Tuseme mimi, I want to retire at 60. And yes, so I have 15 years.
Okay.
So what happens?
How much would you want to build in that pension plan? I want us to open a financial calculator tufanye pamoja.
Tuanze tu na hiyo 10M. Let's try 10M.
10M working backwards. Nitaweza kuwork backwards. Kidogo tu. So hiyo ni 15 by 12. Those are 180 months. Ndio? And let's calculate at a return of 10%.
Yes.
By the way, pension products perform well. A lot of people think ati pension ni 2% hapana. Pension on average, a good pension will average hapo 10%, and it is net. Like hiyo ni wametoa their management fee and everything. So I'm guessing we are doing, let's see what 25k would look like. Perfect. So ndio hiyo, if you're doing 25k kila mwezi, and you are so you start with an initial amount of 25k, na uongeze a monthly deposit at 25 kila mwezi over a period of 180 months. See, that's 15 years.
Yes.
At a 10% annual interest, yenye ina compound, your maturity value will be 10.5.
Okay. So now with the 10.5,
yes,
I can earn 1%, which is 100.
100k hapa.
That's good.
Yes.
That's good.
Yes.
Oh,
and the one thing I'd want to say about pension, please, himiza Kenyans to start early. Mwaf, if you see the difference now, if a young, let's say, at your nephew at 22, how not even 25k, he would just need to do God knows, I don't know if we should call it peanuts. Let's say he does 5k for 15 years at yeye, achane akiwa 37. Okay, but remember hataweza bado kuguza ile pesa, si ndio? Because we've said he will get it when
60.
Yes, at 60.
Yes.
So by 37, maturity value ya hii 5k yake itakuwa 2.1. Okay, so it's 2,111,890.
Yes.
I want to show you 2,111,890. Asiongeze shilingi after that 37 to 60. Hiyo ni miaka ngapi? 23. What is our 23 by 12? Hata tuone sasa imebaki 23 by 12. 276 months.
Yes.
Okay, if look at that,
Oh, that's 20
he will end up at retirement. And do you see what that young man did? He just set aside 5k for 15 years. Then akasema, unajua, whatever I have accumulated during that time, sasa wacha niache i-compound too. It will compound from 2.1 over that time to 20.8 million shillings. I keep saying, I wish we had this
Take
information
advantage
also
of
when you
youth.
were young.
Yes.
When I hit 35 and I was no longer youth, I think I'm still in shock about that. Like, it's what you said, time flies.
Yeah.
Our young people, we are not even asking our younger brothers to invest. I'm not saying you do the 25k to meona maf anastahili kufanya to hit 10.
Yes.
Can you see this young man with just 5k doing for the same period of time as you, then ayache to compound.
Yes.
It even doubles. You get? I think that
It's
is
more
the
than
advantage
doubles.
of youth. Yes. It's the advantage of youth. It's the advantage of time because they have time on their hands.
Yes. Okay. Damn, that's interesting sana.
Yes.
And so kuna nini tena hapa? Niko so tumeangalia income protection. Of course, last expense hiyo tunajua, si ndio? Last expense squeezy, it's become common, ama? How?
Not yet. We are not yet there, Moaf. And I'll tell you, have you been involved in a fundraising this year?
Yes, been involved.
Ngapi?
Yes. Nimekuwa involved kadhaa, but zangu mostly zimekuwa ni ile tunaongezea juu ya last expense. Like kwa the groups that I'm involved in such stuff,
Yes.
kuna kuagana stories are last expense.
This month alone, I've been in 3. You can even see like this one. This is when she's being laid to rest today. I still feel we have not yet gotten to the place of, especially for, you know, if you know, for example, you have parents, they're aging. Do you get? And I'm talking to our age mates now at this point.
Yes.
You have your parents, you know, our parents are aging. Like literally you have zero reason not to have a last expense policy. Because you see, last expense, Moaf, you are able to take a last expense cover and even cover anybody whom you feel, oh God, angeenda. It could be a sibling, you get? It could be a parent. When you unajua, if I would lose this person, itabidi niingie kwa mfuko and it will cost me a lot.
Yes.
You get, in the preparations to that. I feel that a lot of us have either embraced last expenses as groups, like if you're maybe in an alumni association ya shule, mtakuwa na last expense hapo, but mara mingi tunachukua last expense ya 100k. Ni pesa kidogo sana.
Yes.
You get? Like, in this market, you can get last expenses even up to 800k. Do you get? So try and remember, you can have more than one. So even if you have, if you're in an association, yes, yes, you can have more than one. So if you're in an association where you have a good, you know, a group cover, maybe with your friends, try fanya hesabu yako mwenyewe. You get? Because in most cases, like for the lady now who's being laid to rest today, that unfortunately sometimes the last expense costs are mixed up with now maybe the hospital bill.
Yes.
You get? So sasa familia has had jukumu ya ku raise 6.8M. But then, you know, Moaf, those are moments that they leave that family changed forever. You know, mnamaliza kila kitu, mnaleta your most prime plots, mnaacha hospitali inashikwa, and in most cases unajua hizo shamba hazirudi.
Hazirudigi.
Once mmeekelea, hiyo imeenda. Hiyo eventually you may not be able to raise the money to be able to go and withdraw that title deed. You get? So I keep saying, if your last expense is that 100k, just do your math. Ask yourself, is it really sufficient?
Okay.
If the answer is no, please also take up another last expense cover.
Okay.
Yes.
Alafu kuna kitu nimefikiria saizi that I found to be interesting.
Yes.
let's say I want both whole life insurance
Yes.
na nataka pia your pension nini, if let's say mtu ameinvest 4 million kwa something low risk
Yes.
like a money market,
Yes.
sindio? So 4 million takuletea you around 40k, let's say.
4 million.
Yes.
So ikiwa at what percent?
You at 10%. Let's look at it from the lower side plus
Net,
the fluctuations. Yes.
So itakuwa 400k. So kwa kila mwezi it's about 33.
Yes.
Yes.
33.
Yes.
So with 33, I can be able to pay my 10k hapa and pay my 23 hapa. And now,
Yes.
like your pesa, hata kama I grow
Yes.
at the rate that ningetaka I grow,
Yes.
it's still protecting me in ways that
You know,
Yes.
let me
Sindio?
tell you.
and it's still growing at the same time because you know, remember, it's still, even if it's 9%,
Yes.
this 9% it's still bado inafanya vitu. I don't know if that
Yes.
makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense. And I know people bring in the question of inflation. At now my money market will be stagnant, but this is what I keep saying. Okay. If the 4 million is available and probably ni pesa hutumi sasa hivi.
Yes.
Okay. It could even be maybe even your emergency fund. Maybe you've even set aside pesa because right now a lot of Kenyans are embracing emergency funds.
Yes.
So unapata mtu maybe akona 2M, 3M yenye ameweka kando and that is not meant to be invested or anything. It needs to be easily liquidatable. Okay. Sasa with that 4M ikikupe 33k, do you know what it's doing for you? Inakujengea 10M ya pension ya retirement.
Yes.
Inakujengea another 10M ya inheritance for the children. Are you telling me that, let's go back to our financial calculator, sindio? And we are doing this within, so now we would need to look at ile life cover, tunge need tuifanye 15 years.
Yes.
Sindio? Tuende kwa 15 years ili tuone what value it will have given you within 15 years as a 45-year-old. Leo tumekuja kufanya hesabu, please.
Yeah.
So,
it's okay.
It will have given you at 45, it's 10.2.
Yes.
So let's call it 10. Ile 2.5, hiyo ni kumaanisha ni 250 kila mwezi. So in 15 years, how much is our 250?
At least 3M.
Wow. Okay, so 250k by 15, it's 3.7.
Yes.
So the estate now, call it 14M.
Yes.
So you've built an inheritance by the age of 60 of 14 million. You have built a pension of 10M.
Yes.
And you still have your 4M.
Yes.
Okay. If we would have left our 10M, our 4M, sindio? 4 million, without adding anything over a period of, was it 180 months?
Yes.
Okay. The maturity value would be 17M.
Yes.
Do you get? Okay. So, ungeiacha tu kwa money market peke yake.
Yes.
In 15 years, ingekuwa 17M. Yet, right now, your 4 million has built for you a 14 million inheritance for the children. It has built for you 10M worth of pension, and the 4M is still intact.
Yes.
I keep asking people, because a lot of people come at me, oh, inflation. I'm like, what are you not getting?
Yeah. Like you're because nimeifikiria saizi.
Yes.
And I was there like, okay, money market, the returns might be small.
Yes.
But if you're using the said returns for both pension and nini,
Yes.
it becomes a very different equation.
And
Unajua?
imagine.
So now you're building wealth design. By time unaacha mtu yule atakuwa akisema money is not everything. I'd like my kid to say that.
Yes.
Money is not everything. I'll be like, I made it.
Yes.
Unajua? Yeah.
And you see, you can replicate that same strategy for your bonds. You get, like,
yes.
at the end of the day, the money that you are making, the interest that's coming from your investments portfolio should be able to really multiply.
Yes.
And it's my hope that, especially for Kenyans who are watching this, they can realize the power of also diversifying.
Yes.
No, mara mingi unashikilia money market yako unasema it's money market to the end.
Yes.
No, that's not how it should be. You get, your money market is probably there to hold your sinking fund. So kama ni emergency, nakushikia emergency fund yako vizuri. Kama you're saving maybe towards another investment, pia inakushikia vizuri, you get. So let's embrace the power of diversifying, acknowledging that yes, I need my money market, I need my bonds portfolio, I need my real estate, I need my pension, I need my now my insurance, you get. And mara mingi hautaweza kuanza kila kitu etago.
Yes, because bonds,
yes,
wacha tukue bonds, let's layer 3 million.
Okay.
That means distribute it as 500 kwa 6 different bonds.
Okay.
Can that work?
Yes,
instead
it can
of
work.
putting it in one bond.
Yes, it can work. You see, the beautiful thing with layering, you know that a bond pays us in what we call coupons.
Yes.
So every 6 months, there's an income coming in.
Yes.
So let's work with a very rough figure. But then CBK, it has reopened 3 bonds this month.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we should look at them. Later, that is. But yes, for anyone watching this, CBK has reopened 3 bonds. They're all previously issued.
Yeah.
But they're good opportunities. Around their 13, 14,
okay.
about.
Okay.
So let's work with a 13%. But all of them are fixed coupons. So, but let's work with 13% net return. Okay, na tumesema tuko na 3M, sindio? And we distribute it. Of course, now, if you're buying bonds, different bonds, that already tells you the rate of return itakuwa tofauti.
Yeah, itakuwa tofauti.
But let's work maybe with an average of what?
10%. What to work too low?
Yes.
Let's work low.
Okay, low. But 10 is low for bonds.
10 is low. I know.
Yes.
Because bonds mostly ni 13 kwenda juu ama.
Yes. In the recent past, tumespoiliwa mpaka zilienda juu sana. But right now, they have sort of like leveled back now to this 13.
Okay.
12, 13. Okay.
So let's work with 12.
Okay.
Okay.
So 12%. Okay. So if we have bought our bond, we know that every bond that you buy, let's say you buy one that pays coupons in January, utajua nalipa January and 6 months later. So when is that? It's January then? July.
Feb, August.
Perfect.
March, April. So you are covered the whole year.
Yes.
That's why we are layering.
Yes. So if we have our 500K on each bond, that already tells you at 12%, kila mwezi uko na 60K.
Yes.
Inakuja tu. But then this is the thing about bonds that I like to say more. Bonds, ideally, are good for someone who's just looking for passive income.
Yes.
You get, like, especially at retirement. Unajua uko umejijengea like this 50M, 100M. Unachukua ile lump sum, unarusha hapo. Wewe unajua. I remember when I worked at KCB, I had clients who would come, put like 200M in a bond.
Yes.
Then anakuambia, like, when you're doing the paperwork, you're just there admiring and thinking, aki, people are rich. And then anakuambia, this will be enough for my fuel. You're like, huh? Like, you get.
Yeah.
Now, bonds ideally are really good when mtu akona lump sum money. If you're still in your wealth building stage,
yes,
hii pesa ikilipwa, try see if you can use it to still continue multiplying the wealth.
So uko US na unatrai kutuma do Kenya, baki umetumia LemFi. Na reason ya kutumia LemFi ni LemFi inakupatia the highest exchange rates. Alafu apart from that, juu ya LemFi unabaki umetuma $8,000 in one day. Ama unaweza tuma $16,000 in 1 week. Ama unaweza tuma $32,000 in 1 month. Hiyo ni up to 4 million shillings in 1 month. Na ni simple kabisa. LemFi app unaweza baki umepata kwa App Store na pia unaweza ipata kwa Google Play. Another reason ya kusign up kwa LemFi ni wewe ni Iko Nini fan. Na umekuwa ukishindwa nizaje support Iko Nini. Naweza support aje asi. Kuna vile saizi jo mfuko ni mbaya. Lakini I need kutumia mother dose, so siwezi tumia Iko Nini chochote. Kuna a very easy way ili unaweza kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Support your family na pia support Iko Nini. Na unafanyaje hivyo? Unabaki umesign up to LemFi using our QR code. Baki umescan QR code. Kama si hivyo, ubaki umetumia the link ile tumeseti kwa description. Na usisahau the first $100 ile utatuma, wewe mwenyewe utapata $20 cashback. Alafu sisi juu tumekurefer, pia sisi tutapata $20. Unacheki, utakuwa umesupport IKONINI, ndio tuendelee kukupatia the conversations that you like. Na pia kitu inabamba kabisa ni saizi kuna vile LemFi ina support both M-Pesa paybill numbers na till numbers. Inamaanisha unabaki umelipia madhako internet ukiwa majuu. Unaweza mlipia stima bado ukiwa majuu. unza make sure that madhako iko both connected na pia keja yake iko lit up. Na hiyo ni courtesy of LemFi. LemFi, international payments for everyone. Iko nene. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking unachiki kama hiyo 3M.
Yes.
If it's 3M na may distribute na get 60.
Yes.
Remember tuko tumebonga jia, we were talking about 25 plus 10. That's 35.
Yes.
See, now I can use the 35 huku and still remain with 25 that I can use to fund my bullshit.
Yes.
Understand?
Exactly.
Still fund my bullshit. I still have my 3M ile naingia hapa. Niko na 25 ile na 35 ile na secure pension plus the estate. Alafu niko na 25 ile. Now I can nini. Alafu tunajua with what we are talking about, diversifying portfolio. So you have that. You have real estate, which is mostly hapa Kenya ni speculation. Understand? And then you have now sasa money market. Pia uko nayo ile for liquidity whatever. So uko kila pahali. Yes. Because I think if you have money market na uko na bonds na uko na real estate na uko na insurance, I think you're set. You're living a full life. You have a whole life.
I love it.
Yes.
I love the pun. Now, and you are a really good student. I love that you see how all these things interconnect. Because mara mingi when we take bonds, then 60K yetu ikiingia, what do we do? Tunangoja next month. You know, but ungetuma, if you just sent out that 60K to go back into the market and work for you, and you can even decide, I'm only going to set aside the 35, my 25 for pension, my 10M for life, this other 25 nairudisha kwa money market. Do you get? Until maybe it gets to 500K, nairudisha, I take up another bond. You get? So we just learned that bit of during our accumulation phase, our wealth building phase, you know, and this is a point of now accumulating properly. You get? There will come a time now when you are hitting retirement. At that point, you want
relax.
Take it easily.
Alafu with the exercise and everything, I look at majuzi nilikuwa na watch this guy Damon Wayans. I don't know if you know him. Damon. Damon is 62. And I was looking at him.
Oh, really?
Damon looks young. And I'm there thinking like for a very long time, we've always assumed that at 60 utakuwa hivi. See, you'll still be the same sort of person that you are. Poverty is what makes people age super fast. If you build your wealth yako, at 60 you'll still be full of life. And at 60 you can still maybe have 40 years ahead. You know, you never know with these things. Kuna watu wata live to 100 na kuna watu wata live for a few hours. You understand? Like life has no guarantees. So with that in mind, I think that's why like when we are having that talk last week, nilikuwa naambia, I was telling people vile time flies so fast and we never realize. So eventually nunaka hapa niko like damn, even like hii time yote vile nilikuwa na work, kumbe ninge investuka 10K saizi ningekuwa na look at a very comfortable life huko mbele.
But I think also the beauty with it is, of course, the most important thing is if we didn't do it in the past, let's do it now. You get like today is the next best day for getting started. So hatujipigi sana. But we start and make the most of the time that we have ahead of us. But now for the younger people, when you have the advantage of being in your 20s, please also start now.
Take advantage. Yes. So alafu kuna personal accident cover. What is that about?
A PA cover, we call that PA. So PA is, by the way, especially for young people, I advise, PA is so, for lack of a better term, cheap. You can, a PA cover for about 500,000 in a year. You pay about 1,200 bob for the whole year. Okay? And a personal accident cover makes a payout in the event that you get into an accident that leads to death. You become permanently disabled from an accident. You become temporarily disabled. A PA cover will even cater for medical costs, medical expenses from an accident. So it's exactly that. If you're involved in an accident, for example, Mwaf, do you know that if you own your own car and you got into an accident, gari italipwa, wewe hautalipwa? You know that?
Yes.
So a PA cover is the type of cover now we layer up with a motor insurance policy. to ensure that even the owner of the vehicle or the driver and even the immediate family, God
Yes.
forbid, if anything happened, you're involved in an accident and there are medical expenses from this, ama kuna appliances that you need to buy like crutches or something, sindio, those will actually be paid for by the PA policy.
Okay.
Yes, so
Okay.
very affordable. It's a very affordable plan.
Oh,
Nowadays,
how
you see,
much?
from here, like 1,282. It's a few thousands, maybe by the time now you're getting to your 10 million PA cover, that's when maybe you'll be paying like 5K, thereabout.
Okay.
But very affordable.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, because this reminds me of, I don't know, Colin, that sad story of one family where this woman just lost everyone. Ilikuwa kwa nation where I think her husband was involved in an accident and so akakufa, sindio? And then at some point her sons, I think 3 sons died in a car accident. Then akabaki ni yeye na daughter wake. Then the daughter also passed away. Like this woman has been through hell. I remember ilikuwa nini, and I was there thinking like hiyo plus hospital bills plus what. You try and imagine like it can reach a level where you give up on life, not because of anything but because now apart from loss kona debt, kona hospital bills, kona it becomes really too much. Yes, there was such a woman.
Yeah.
How
That's tragic. No.
Yes,
I think you can already tell. Let me tell you more of me. I am a typical Kenyan. I think lately I'm so depressed by news and reading the papers that umewaiona mtu amejifunika maskio. Like,
yes, I understand.
Every other headline is haunting. Yeah, no, I didn't see that. I missed out on that.
Yes, hata nachiki hapa nimeenda kwa nimegoogle to woman who lost her whole family because
Yes.
like a woman named Joyce Ongombe in Kenya has tragically lost all 6 members of her family within the past 14 years, leaving her as the sole survivor. The recent tragedy was a gas boiler explosion in Mombasa where she and her daughter sustained severe burns and her daughter later succumbed
Let me tell
to
you something.
her injuries. Yes.
I know that story. Her husband was my teacher in high school. He was a teacher at Alliance.
Yes.
And I remember just after high school, he got swept away by floods in, I believe, Maimahi or something,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
with, I believe, either 2 children or so. Yeah, so very tragic story. Yes.
Yes.
This one,
Afu, this is a perfect example of life happens. Because I think another thing ilenmekam kurealize your life, and this happens to all of us. Siwagana ile, it can never happen to me.
yeah.
You know, and I think it's one of those ways of nature kufanya to live life in fear. So it's an evolutionary trait.
Yeah.
It's good and bad at the same time. It makes you live life,
Yeah.
but on the other side inafanya hauchukui vitu as seriously as you should. Okay, difference between premium and budget covers.
Okay. So premium policies, hii sasa ni medical insurance, okay?
Yes.
So mtu akikujia premium policy, this is a client mwenye anataka kuaccess what we call tier 1 hospitals. Unajua kuna mtu ukimuuliza unataka hospitali gani, atakwambia Aga Khan, Nairobi, AAR, MP Shah, Mata. Watoto atakwambia nataka mtoto aende Gertrudes. We call those tier 1 facilities. Okay, so super high end private hospitals. So a premium policy will give you access to both tier 1, tier 2. So sasa tier 2 ni the likes of middle level. So the Coptic, Avenue, Equity Afya, KNH private side, the prime care.
Okay.
Most mission hospitals kama kina Kijabe, they fall under tier 2.
Okay.
So a premium plan will give you access to both tier 1, tier 2, na pia ikuongeze specialists like this. So any type of specialist you think of. When you think of the Doctors Plaza hapa ya Nairobi Hospital, a premium plan will like give you access to everyone there. Okay? Then, and of course, that comes at an added, a higher cost. Okay? So premium covers, as their name sort of like gives a connotation, they are a little bit expensive. They're not a little bit, but they are quite pricey.
Yes.
Now, budget is a cover that gives you access to tier 2 and a few specialists, but it's still a good cover. It's more affordable. You get. So for someone who's looking for mwenye anakuambia, hey, nilionyeshwa 80 something thousand, I could not afford that, probably a budget plan is a good place to start from.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a costing thing, and also maybe the kind of coverage you can have. Utapata like budget policies, the maximum inpatient you can get is like 1 million.
Yeah.
Zile zingine you can even do 10M.
Yeah.
You get.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So tukimalizia, I think maybe you can still tell people why you really push for whole life insurance.
Yes.
Because I think watu wamelearn your whole life. But
Yes.
why do you think that this is one of the best, if not the best, policy?
So why whole life? Whole life is a game changer in our finances.
Okay.
5,000, 10,000, 20K is able to build such a significant value for that is for both protection right now. If you're thinking, I have a young family, I have a young spouse, I want to ensure we have peace of mind in my home.
Yes.
I want to ensure that in the face of a critical illness, there's a 10 million that could be paid out into my home.
Yes.
You get?
Yes.
So whole life one will bring peace of mind in the short term by doing income protection, but in the long term, and I like to challenge people, please do that math. Do you know math, your whole life, even if you put it against, say, a bond, haikaribi.
Yeah. No,
Like
yeah.
whole life is so high value in nature. Stop fearing. But the whole life insurance is a product that's used world over.
I think whole life watu wengi wanaiogopa jio sitakuwa other people will benefit. No, there are people who've grown like that, especially right now. We live in a very toxic environment of people being told not to trust their spouses, especially men being told not to trust their wives. So mtu kama ule amefidiwa with such information is the sort of person lataona how whole life will benefit his kids. Unaona? Kitu kama hiyo.
But this is what I say, by the way. Life insurance, by the way, guys, life insurance is not really for you. Life insurance is a product of love for the people who would be affected when you're not there or if you're not there.
Yes.
Okay? So we grew up knowing that, I buy a life cover as an education plan. After 10 years, I receive the money. Tunalipa school fee ama tunaikula. You get? Now, let's also see, and those are also important, by the way, but let's also see what life insurance really does. Life insurance is there to ensure that as your family is hard hit because of your absence, they do not have to be financially hit.
Yes.
Okay? So, whole life, if you are someone mwenye amesema, I want to give my kids or my loved ones sort of like a stepping stool.
Yes.
In future, I do not want them to start from zero. I want my kids to have an inheritance. I want to leave behind a trust. Yenye the 100 million from my life cover can be invested in bonds. Na kila mwezi, no, like every 6 months, there's this coupon coming in, and it can be distributed, and it can be a monthly income for my family. You get? So if you are, the kind of person who's very keen on building wealth,
Yes.
building a legacy, leaving an inheritance.
Yes.
Okay? Then whole life needs to make a prominent appearance within your financial portfolio, for sure. It will just change your financial standing like this, because that's the kind of cover where you inject in 10K, and if it's guaranteeing you 10 million as sum assured, that goes into effect immediately, and at least, you don't have to break bank. It doesn't have to disrupt your budget to own a whole life cover. And it's the kind of cover, as long as you're with a good insurance company. The underwriter we were talking about, they've been in business now for 177 years. During World War I alone, they paid over 230,000 claims.
Oh, okay.
During the actual Titanic tragedy, they paid over 300 claims from the Titanic tragedy.
Very prudential.
Yes.
Okay,
So, I
okay.
mean, you are talking of underwriters that have been there almost close to what, is that, how many is 100 years is centuries?
Yes.
I believe we can trust such a company of such repute to be there even 50 years from today, and to ensure that the claim, when finally the family comes to do a claim, one, they're handled with so much dignity, because you just need to pick at the claims settlement statistics in this country.
Yes.
You look at the standing for claim statistics and you're like, Enyere, there's just something different when it comes to people who have mastered the business of life insurance.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, this has been a masterclass. And
Yes.
asante sana. I feel like it's time ile ya pull the trigger on a few things. Like for me, the studio, home insurance, I need to do that immediately. And then I also need to get on this whole life insurance, because I think wife amechukua in her own way.
Yes.
So I need to also do my part so that I don't look like this selfish asshole.
And there was also pension to see how the older
yes.
mwaf.
Yeah, pension. So ni hizi vitu zote, alafu pia tunataka kujua vile saa tutatumia bonds, kila kitu, just to balance and not stretch ourselves, because the whole thing is not to stretch ourselves. So unachukua earnings za hii unaweka kwa hii, alafu unajiprotect naye, sindio? Inafaa kuwa hivyo. So imekuwa ni episode 447. Tukimalizia tukisema like, subscribe, hit the notification button, tell a friend, tukimalizia tukisema Iko Nini.
Iko Nini.